Smells yummy.
All right. Actually, great news. Chris is on the call. Perfect. We're recording. Everyone's muted. So let's go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
So everyone, thank you so much for being on tonight. Welcome to the Bronze Training Call. So Amy and I were talking earlier, and what we have learned in this business is, and we started, doing this as well, with doing another job too, right? Most people are on here do this part-time, and that's great, but how do we build our business part-time when we don't have all of our time? We're running a household, or maybe we're working a job, 2 jobs. I know some people on here probably working 3 jobs. So what we've learned is we can actually build our business and be productive every single day in really small block windows, 15-minute time slots. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's not a lot of time. Well, it is if you think about it. If you dedicate 15 minutes 3 times a day, and 3 different times a day, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the call, specifically for your business. So what we found is if you dedicate 15-minute time slots, you can be much more productive. So we want to teach you how to be much more productive each and every day, and figure that within your time schedule. So kind of for an example, maybe pick a 15-minute window in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And keep in mind, everyone, your schedule is different than everybody's on the call. So figure out what your 3-minute, 15-minute block time windows are, and we're going to give you some homework at the end of the call. So Amy, if you want to go ahead and get started, what do people do in the morning to build their business? 15 minutes. What does that look like?
Okay. Something that Cass and I were discussing earlier when we were putting together this training is what I'm going to tell you. Like, I don't know if you guys saw on my personal page, I made a post last night that said something about Pinterest, because I have to avoid Pinterest. Pinterest is a rabbit hole for Amy Smith. I will start looking at one recipe and end up like 4 hours later on my second cousin's baby daddy's Pinterest blog thingy, right? And I'm like looking up going, where in the world did my morning go? I know for me personally that I cannot, would have to set a timer to be on Pinterest, because I don't have time during the day to spend 4 hours on Pinterest, right? And you don't even know you're doing it, because you get sucked in and you're on all this Zoom stuff or all these blogs, and you don't understand how you even got there. So when I say this about your first 15 minutes of the day that you spend, make a post on Facebook. Do not start scrolling on Facebook, because if you are like most of us, like Cassandra, Monday, and I were talking about earlier today, we're guilty of this as well. I know that I have to stay off Pinterest because I will end up all day on there. So when you go to make your first post on Facebook, my target audience is between 7 a.m. for my audience, between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. I need to make a post every single day between 7 and 9, because that's when I have the most people on Facebook, and that's when I get the most interaction. So for me, I know that first post of the day is the most important post I make of the day. So for me, my first 15-minute block has to be making a post on Facebook to where it can get engagement for the day to set me up for success for the rest of the day. So that's one of the first things you need to do in your first 15-minute block, is to make a post on Facebook. If you have an Instagram, make your first post on Instagram as well during that first block of your day. Also, you can send 2 to 3 messages during that time as well, whether it be not necessarily a follow-up, because Cass is going to talk about those in just a second, but with your messages, it can even be connecting to someone new. Hey, Cindy, haven't talked to you in a while, just checking in. Saw you posted pictures of your granddaughter's birthday yesterday. Looked like so much fun. That is still a connection. Whether you guys think it's directly related to your business or not, that is time you are building in your business. So it's super important. So those are the first things that I would do in my first block of 15 minutes per day.
Also, to add to that, Amy, let's be honest, we go to bed, we're still talking to people, and then what about the messages from last night or yesterday that you haven't responded back to, right? So that's a great time to get back to those messages. And another thing I do want to add, before you go check your notifications or go scrolling, you're going to do this 15-minute time block first before you go have fun on Facebook. That's out of the way, and you'll catch yourself. I started doing that too. I'm like, oh, I didn't do what I needed to do, so nope, I can't do this yet. And then you're kind of holding yourself accountable as well. I want to add, Amy, you said post on Facebook. Some people are probably wondering, well, do I post about coffee every day? Like, what does that look like?
Okay, well, as you guys know, in between 5:30 and 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, normally I post your morning activity for the day in your bronze group. So that is a great way to get your post for the day. Or I personally, I have my folder here. Hang on just a second. I don't think I have my folder here. But what I do is you can take like a 30-day planner. And this is something I do at the end of the month. The very last day of the month, I'll take my 30-day planner for the next month. And I will go, like, I'll scroll through Facebook or I'll go to Google and I'll write in social media post in Google, and I'll go ahead and make one post a day, like notes, like I want to do a football post. Like today's is like one of the biggest days in the NFL because it's the first Sunday of the NFL, right? Just make little notes, throw on your calendar on different things that are coming up on the month the next day. That way you don't have to spend your time of a morning thinking, what am I going to post today on Facebook? You have a plan. So I do that on the last day or the next to last day of every single month. I will take my planner out and mark at least one post a day on my planner.
That's great. And I just learned something new about going on and figuring out what to post, what's popular, right? So
right.
That's perfect. So that looks like morning, right? And
yep.
Like we said, that might be, maybe you work in the morning, so maybe your time slot's a little bit different. So second time slot of the day, whatever time that is for you, most people it's afternoon, right on that lunch break or on that break that you have during the day. Great time to now follow up with the interaction that you've received on your post. And also, reach out to 5 new people, whether you're reaching out and sharing the conversation about the coffee, or you're reaching out to somebody brand new that you just added on Facebook, or somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. 5 new people. I would encourage what I've been doing recently is making a list of people I still haven't shared it with, right? And making sure those 5 people are generally, I'm sharing the conversation of the coffee, but at least you're interacting with people 5 consistent a day. And then in the afternoon, a great time to follow up with people that are sampling, people that you have samples out in the mail. A great time, whether you choose afternoon or evening, as people are up, and so that's a great time for follow up. So Amy, I know my follow up might be a little bit different than yours. What does that look like? And do you preface it that you're going to follow up with them when you send the samples out? If you can kind of give an example.
Yeah, what I do is when I send a sample, I will include the sample and I do the if I will you method is what I call it. I totally did not make that up. I don't know who I got that from, but I cannot take credit for that. But the if I will you. So if I send you a sample, will you tell me when you get it and how you feel? So like I tell them that. If I will you, okay? That puts you're qualifying people. It's a way that you can qualify people. I'm not just gonna send free coffee in the mail to people. I have to qualify you first. None of us wanna just send coffee just to be sending coffee, right? Like if I will you. So when they get their sample and they let me know they have it, I tell them, okay, let's try it in the morning. Normally, as I'll say, and like I will message you around noon, or like let's say they're gonna try it at 9 a.m. I will message you around 10:30 or 11 and let me know how you feel. So like I message them. That way, if they have not listened to me and they've dumped a whole pack into their coffee and they're jacked up, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is making me jittery, I can tell them, okay, now let's do a half a pack tomorrow and hot water instead of doing it in the coffee, right? So you can kind of walk them through it. So that's what I do. That's how I set mine up for my follow-up. So my message to them will be, hey, did you try the Happy Coffee? And when, you know, whatever they message me back will steer my conversation. So if they say, yeah, I did, not really feeling anything, I will tell them, get a notepad out and write down how you're feeling. Like, because you have to tell people, have you noticed that you're not hungry? Have you noticed that you're not snacking by 11 a.m.? Like, people don't realize it. Some people light up like a Christmas tree and they know immediately. Like, I lit up like a Christmas tree and knew it immediately. Some people don't. They just don't. And you have to tell them, hey, do you notice that you're not eating Oreos at noon? Like, you know, trying to find stuff to eat constantly. So that's important. So that's
Allergy, Savannah.
What does your follow-up look like, Cass?
My follow-up, like you, I let people know I am going to follow up. I like to know when they received it, and then obviously, you know, suggest taking it the next morning, right? So have you had, knowing that they received it, I always ask, have you had a chance to try your Happy Coffee yet, right? Instead of asking how they feel, because then maybe they didn't have it yet. So making sure they tried it. And sometimes I haven't had it yet, or maybe because they got it that evening or something like that. Or no, I'm starting Monday morning, or yes, I have. So if they haven't had it yet, I always suggest, great, you know, always positive. I'm not like upset they haven't had it. I'm just like, okay, awesome. So I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow morning, and I remind them again how to take it. I can't wait for you to try it again, excitement, and then let them know I'm going to follow them up or with them again the next day. So, and then kind of what you alluded to, Amy, as well, you know, did you notice you're not hungry? That sort of thing. And keep in mind, even though, you know, Amy or I or anybody on the call may say, well, let me know how you feel. Let's be honest, a lot of people don't message us. It is our job to message them. And you might, like the other day, I did have somebody message me and said, oh my God, I feel so amazing. I'm not hungry at all. And I'll tell you, that doesn't happen often. It is our job to follow up and make sure you're following up while they're taking the product. So that's follow up. And then Amy, okay, so now we're kind of through the 15-minute block of the afternoon, unless there was something else you wanted to add that we've missed.
I think that's
okay. And then what does evening look like?
Evening, and this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the magic happens, guys. In your 15-minute evening block, or at least in one of your 50, you've got to do some personal development. I'm currently reading Girl, Go Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis is what I'm currently reading. I can tell you that anytime I'm sitting in my office where I'm sitting right now, you're going to see what personal development I'm doing. Your paycheck cannot outgrow your personal development. I can promise you that. If anything I've seen in this industry, that is true 100 times. Cassandra and I have seen people build businesses and other companies that could not keep it sustained because they didn't do the personal development to be able to handle that position. That's something that I can tell you personally that a lot of the leaders in this company are very, very diligent in. And also we're going to, Cass, is this where we want to talk about what we're going to announce in the group?
Yeah, we can. Sure, go ahead.
Can I do this? Okay. Cassandra and I were talking earlier. We have decided that we are going to be each other's accountability partner. And that's something that we're going to do in the last block of our day, that we're going to follow up with each other of an evening and say, look, this is what I did today, and this is what she did today, and try to keep each other accountable. Well, when we were discussing that, we decided that we were going to make a post in the Bronze Training Group. And this is open for your guys' feedback. We want to know if this is something that will be helpful. But if you do not already have an accountability partner, we're going to start a list, and then we can help you guys match up with an accountability partner for the day. That way you have someone that you need to tell what you did that day for your business. I know that's been a game changer for me. Ian and I do it as well. I talk to Ian every single morning. We do a little bit different on ours. What we ask each other every morning is, because you guys know it's not a secret, we're both big into the social impactors and Brian Fires Society. We ask each other every single morning, what can I do today to bring more value than I did yesterday? That's just where we are, in our business and what we're trying to do as leaders. So that's what Ian and I do. So now I've got that of a morning, and then Cass and I are going to follow up of an evening with an accountability. Like, what action steps did I take today to grow my business? We can get into management mode, or we can get into just the mode of where we are all just focusing on just so much other random stuff, and we're not taking the action steps that we need to grow our business. Customer acquisition is something that should be on the forefront of every single person's mind, whether you're a Crown ambassador or whether you're working to hit bronze. Customer acquisition should be something that each of us are focusing on every day.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, Amy. And yeah, having that accountability partner is huge, because I mean, let's be honest, it's hard to hold your own self accountable. I know that. And, I've fell short, we all have, right, on certain days. So especially when you're just getting started as well, I think that's really key. So yeah, we're going to do a post, and, if you don't have somebody, that's okay. Just post, I need a partner, and we'll partner you up with somebody, because there are people out there that don't have one. So we're going to do that. And I think that will be key to helping everyone. Amy, I don't know if you can read. So there's some questions.
I'll check it. Go ahead. I'll check it.
Along with that, so find your accountability partner. If you don't have one, post it. So you're going to post the name in the group, or you're going to post that you need one. The other thing is figure out the 3 time slots per day. So like I said, we gave you, examples of morning, afternoon, evening. Mm-hmm. Maybe you work in the morning, maybe you work in the evening, then figure out whatever your time slots are. And then we're going to do another post. What are your 3 time slots per day to build your business in those 15-minute time blocks? And maybe you switch it around. We're just giving an example of what you can do. You don't have to follow the specific example exactly. Figure out what works best for you. Maybe in the morning you prep your samples to take to the post office in the afternoon, because that's what works for you, right? So you do what works for you to build your business. These are just examples. Amy, did we miss anything? Or
yeah. So what some of the questions in the chat, Cass, they were asking us if we know when they're going to change the Phil Dose link to where it doesn't say free anymore. My guess on that, and Cassandra may know more than I do, but my guess on that would probably not be till after November, when they have the app, or is it November? Yeah, till November, when the app comes out, and we can do. It has not been officially announced, and it's still in the works, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but there is a very good possibility that unless something changes, we will be able to buy samples, and people can actually order them from your link and be shipped from the distribution center, where we're not having to mail our own samples. That's what we are hearing. Don't quote me that it's going to happen when the app comes out, because as we know, things can change, but that is the plan right now. So I would assume that link, the Phil Dose link, probably won't change until convention and the app comes out.
Yeah, and also, I mean, for me personally, I don't use that, and I haven't, just because the app's not there. So if you're charging for samples, like I am, then don't use it. Or you can say it's free and it's $9.95 for shipping, or something like that, or whatever you charge for your samples. So there's ways around that. I personally I'm not using it until the app is running, and that's worked really well for me. But I know that the free is going to be at least taken off the shareables here soon. And then what was, Amy, I think there was another question in there.
I think another one just came, actually. Hang on. So will it only be done through the app? As far as ordering as far as we know, Sherry, like I said, this hasn't been rolled out, so we don't know all the details. Just some of the leaders have been in conversations with corporate, and that's what we know so far. As far as I know, it will be only done through the app, but I'm not 100% on that because it's not rolled out yet, so we don't know what they're going to change before then. But it would be through the app and then the dose link. Amy mentioned the best time in the morning. Amy, you mentioned the best time in the morning is 7 to 9 a.m. What about lunchtime, afternoon time, or evening time? Annette, what I said was for my market, like I've paid enough attention to my following to know. One thing that keeps and I can do, if you guys want, let me know some feedback because we've kind of talked about this too, Cass. Like we haven't talked about Facebook Lives because we don't want to exclude anyone. We want everyone to know they can build their business with or without. But if you guys would like some Facebook Live training, I would be happy to do that too. Just let me know if that's something you guys want to do in the group as well. But with that, what I was saying about of a morning, like I can tell you 7 to 9 is huge on my engagement. At night, my engagement is not as high, but lunchtime is also okay as well.
Also, to add to that, Amy, just do this. Take a piece of paper and a pen, and throughout the day, go on your messenger, see how many people are active, at what times. Do that for a week, and then you'll have your answer on when to post.
Yep. Also, like if you are doing Facebook Lives, this is just a tip, go into your messenger and see how many people are active, and make sure you have a lot of people active before you go Facebook Live. That'll help as well.
Okay, next question. When we send samples, are we sending the coffee and the Xanthamax? I do, absolutely. I don't want to try to tell people or sell people later on the Xanthamax. I'm selling the dose. I want them to get the full benefit and, you know, the full feeling of both products because I know they work best together. If for some reason you're not using the shareable pack and you just have samples on hand, just put it in a little bag. Sometimes I will save the little bottles. I know we don't always have the little bottles all the time for every single person we're sampling, but I just put it in a bag and I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, don't post that on social media, please, because that is totally against compliance now. So don't go post that on social media because if you post it on social media, you can be turned into compliance. I am not saying that I do not do it. Okay, like let me go on record as saying that. I am not saying I don't do it, but I'm saying you will not find it on social media. So please be cautious of that because it is completely against compliance now to repackage anything. So that would be like taking the chocolate and put in Ziploc bags. That would be sending Xanthamax that are not in the dose packs. That's why we have the dose packs. But I'm not saying do what you got to do, okay? Just do what you got to do. Just don't post it on social media so where you can be held accountable for it.
Someone asked something about the Xanthamax. What do you say about that? In my mind, the coffee, I don't take without the Xanthamax. So I say it's part A, part B. You take a little capsule called the Happy Capsule with the Happy Coffee, and it works together. And if you have more questions, I have them watch a video. And then if they have even more questions, I connect them with somebody else. So I keep it really simple. I said, I don't know. I feel amazing. I'm down 15 pounds. I have energy for days and I'm more productive during the day. I just take both of them. But if somebody wants scientific information, there's, you know, tons of great, you know, video or websites we can send them to. But I keep it super simple. And I think there was one more. What little bottles? I'm talking about the Xanthamax bottles. I keep my leftover ones. What were you going to say, Amy?
That's what I was going to read you that question because that was
okay.
You, so I just wanted to make sure you saw it. Yeah.
So we're at about 30 minutes. We didn't want to have this training super long. Amy, if there was nothing else you wanted to add, we can go ahead and wrap up the call.
Yep, and if anybody had any questions, we could hang out for a second and answer questions. If not, you guys can hop off. Are these trainings helpful? Let us know. Like, we're all open for feedback because we would absolutely want to know what you guys need on these trainings to help make you more successful.
All right, that's a wrap.
Looks like everybody's good. Okay, guys.
All
Thank you
right,
so
perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. We look forward to next week's training, and have a great rest of your Sunday night.
And we'll be doing morning activities every morning. Have a good
Thanks
one.
to you guys. Great info.